What does it mean to be on top of your game? And how can you be on top of your game? That is what we're going to talk about in this upcoming series. And we're going to keep it as simple as possible. If you at least have somewhat of a grasp of the game, then this series is going to benefit you a lot. And it will contain everything you need to know to be on top of your game. But for those who are supporting, there will be extra content that might go a bit more in depth and be a bit more beneficial, even though this series in itself is going to be complete. So please consider becoming a supporter, regardless of whether or not you want that extra content. But anyway, that is something you will get access to. Ultimately, what we all would want is to be on top of our game. And we might have a sense of what that means to be on top of your game, even though we don't necessarily have a complete clarity about it. So let's first and foremost remove any misconception about what it could mean. It does not mean that you know everything. It does not mean that you have achieved everything. But essentially it means that you are capable to deal with your game based on where you are at right now. So being on top of your game before you have started to wake up isn't necessarily going to be a very empowered experience. You're not necessarily so capable of dealing with yourself, since you don't have so much clarity. Your frequency isn't so high at that point. But as you're starting to wake up and break out of your script and raise your frequency, you will step more and more into the moment as you are gaining a better ability to deal with yourself and with life. And if played correctly, then you can learn to always have an increase in your ability to stay in the moment and a high enough frequency to not give in to the things that are pulling you out of the moment. You will then have an experience of empowerment and happiness, and you will be on top of your game. And from there on, if played correctly, you will have an increase in your source self connection, your here and now, in the moment, happy state of being. And you will naturally get pulled towards the things in life that are for you, the issues that you should overcome to get to the next level, and a better understanding of where you should be at in terms of centeredness, source self-connection, state of mind, and your increase in the ability to stay in that beneficial place will give you the experience of being on top of your game. It doesn't mean that you know everything, it doesn't mean that you have achieved everything, but it means that you're capable to your best degree yet in dealing with life. So in this series we're going to talk about all different aspects to being on top of your game when it comes to source self-connection, when it comes to how to increase your source self-connection, daily meditation, and the overall approach to dealing with the things that are hindering your source self-connection and the things that are hindering you in getting to the next level. Because you see, there will always be a next level, even when entering the silence or in your presence here and now, your happiness. And you might get to a point in the silence where you think that you have really entered the silence now and you have really connected. But you would be amazed to see how you can get to a next level and then a next level again. And that can be a great inspiration for the next time when you lay down to enter the silence and increase your source self-connection. And we're of course also going to talk about why the source-self connection is so important. I'm going to illustrate something on the whiteboard to make it more clear and easy to understand. And that's the mission of this series, to make it clear, to make a powerful video that will help those who truly want to be on top of their game. What would your experience be like if you were to enter the silence right now? What are you doing when you enter the silence? What is your intent? What game are you playing? Because you are playing a game no matter what. You're always doing something. And it will always reap rewards to a degree. There are people that have meditated for their entire life, hypothetically, without really being able to connect and to grow and to reap the type of rewards that such an input could potentially reap. So what are you doing when you enter the silence? So being on top of your game, in simple terms, means to be happy. And to be happy means to have a good source-self connection, to be in the moment, to be at ease, to be present here and now. And essentially you have two types of experiences in life. You have the type of experience where you are happy, or where you are caught up in something. And the point of getting a good source-self connection, mastering the silence, is to have a greater recognition of what happiness is. And then of course that's the experience you want to have in life. You want to be happy and empowered. So in short and simple terms, you can have two types of experiences. You can be happy and fine, or you can be caught up in something. When you are caught up, you aren't on top of your game. And when you're happy and fine, you are. From that place, you are strong and empowered, regardless of what frequency it's on. You don't need to be in 9/11 to be on top of your game. But raising your frequency also means that you are able to deal with the things that were able to get you to that level of frequency. And before you started to wake up, you didn't have such a great ability in dealing with things. As you started to raise your frequency, you increased your ability to deal with things. And on the highest frequency, you're essentially able to deal with anything. So you see that it is possible to play a game of life and to intend to be on a high frequency and to do well, but at the same time play it poorly when it comes to this. You want to increase your ability in dealing with things so that you can be happy and fine on top of your game. If you ignore or misunderstand the task at hand when it comes to dealing with the next thing that will take you to the next level, then you're not really getting it. You're not going to efficiently progress and be on top of your game in a higher frequency game. And that's why I said that this video and the approach that I'm going to share in this video is for those who really are determined to raise their frequency. Because I really don't have a solution for those who are determined to just stay in fifth dimension. Because it's not really possible. It's not possible to just stay on one place like that and just take care of what is needed for you to remain in that one place. choosing to play game of life like that would simply be carelessness and ignorance. So we understand that you can have two types of experiences. You can be caught up, or you can be happy and free. And the best way to master the ability to overcome things so that you can be happy and free is, of course, by reaching for a high frequency and encountering the work that needs to be done to get to that frequency. And by playing the game strategically, and by that I mean follow the advice that I gave in this video, then you can progress efficiently. When you enter the silence, it is to increase your source-self connection. It is so that you can increase your ability to be present and on top of your game. And from that place, you will have a phenomenal capacity to deal with any types of shadows or things that you are weighed down by or caught up in. And that is the approach to overcoming anything. Anything that you have ever been caught up in is going to be dealt with in this way. You will never overcome it by going there and getting caught up in it. It is from your here and now, powerful source-self connection, your presence in your source energy, here and now, that is going to give you the ability to overcome anything. And by entering the silence and increasing your source-self connection, you are going to increase your ability to overcome all the things you need to overcome to get to the next level. So what are you doing when you enter the silence? Because let's say that you lay down, you close your eyes, you say silence 3 times, and you successfully enter the silence. Are you then taking care of any clouds or shadows that must be dealt with for you to truly experience the moment, for you to truly be in your source-self connection? And if so, how are you doing it? I'm just saying that if you have the right approach when it comes to this, then you can progress very efficiently. So first and foremost, I want to mention that when you enter the silence, you want to make sure that you are in the silence. That is step number 1. And of course you do the eyelid test and make sure that your eyelids are closed. And I'm going to go more in depth on that later, but for now we keep it like that. Then step number 2 would be to get a good source-self connection, to become aware of your source-self. You can do that with a pillar spin, and it doesn't necessarily need to spin even. You just have to see for yourself what works best. And then you're going to focus all of your attention on your source self, in the center of your head, and in the core of your being. That is the energy you want to be in. And any energy outside of that can be perceived as a cloud. It's a thing limiting you from having a better source self-connection, a higher degree of your source energy present. And what you do then is that you face it. But you need to have a good source self-connection first. So you lay there for as long as it takes for you to get a good source self-connection, to be calm, to be present here and now in your source self. And then you face it. You face whatever it is that needs to be faced for you to get a better source of connection. And that is simply the game you're going to play. And you have to be in a mindset that your mind has turned loose. That is going to hinder your eyes in looking directly at the cloud, or the shadow, or however you want to describe it. And it will make it easier for you to face it. And it might sound or look dark and scary, because it can be. It is darkness, it is a cloud, it is a shadow. But you will move through it, and you will increase, and you will feel the increase in your presence, your source self-connection, and it will be amazing. And that is the game you play. It's a game of increasing your wholeness, your source self-connection, to make your experience fully and completely here and now as source. And as you do this, your source core energy throughout your body will increase, and you would want to increase it beyond your physical body to where you are completely source. And from that place you are absolutely fearless. You are so powerful. And any cloud that you choose to become aware of that could possibly exist, any issue you might have, from that place will simply dissolve, and you will increase again. And you can lay there for as long as you like and just increase and overcome and expand and become more and more whole and complete. That is the best way by far to be on top of your game. To increase your source self-connection so that you easily can overcome the things that you have been caught up in. It's just a matter of shedding light on the darkness, and the darkness will cease to exist, and you will have expanded. And all of the areas of life where you previously had the darkness is now something you have overcome, and you have become stronger. You have raised your frequency. So that is the essence of the game, to expand and grow, become more whole and complete. And I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on this now. First and foremost, when you enter the silence, you say silence 3 times, and you intend to enter the silence. When you say silence for the 3rd time, you would want to have the experience of almost like a second pair of eyelids that are on the inside of your physical eyelids that are closing. Then you have entered the silence. Then your source energy, your presence, is not in contact with the physical body like it is when you are fully conscious aware. And from that place, you can successfully increase your source self-connection. But now you have entered the silence. Now you want to get familiar with the source self-connection. And the best way to do it is to start a pillar spin. And you might need to let it run for a little while, or it might be enough to just imagine the pillar spin, or to intend for your source self-connection in the center of your head. But when you then become aware of the source self-connection, then you choose intentionally to focus all of your energy only on the source self-connection. And that is the only thing that you are determined to do at that point, to be in your source self-connection. And now you want to increase it. Now you want to detach yourself from all sorts of clouds and things that could be going on, to rather increase your source self-connection and stay in your source self-connection. And if there is something that you've been caught up in, is interfering with the amount of focus you can put on your source self-connection, then you need to face that thing. It might feel like it's coming to take you, It might feel like like it's a little scary, but that's how you get to the next level of soul self connection. And there you have the game. You do that till you are completely whole and complete in the moment. And it's difficult to describe exactly what that game is experienced like. You just have to experience it for yourself. But understand that anything is a thing to overcome. And let your mind be loose, so that you don't fight those things, so that you let yourself face them. And you will be amazed how your soul self connection can grow in one session of doing this. So there you have it in simple terms. How to be on top of your game. How to be happy. Well, to be happy you need to be happy. You can't be caught up in something. And if you are caught up in something, you need to face it and deal with it, so that you rather can be happy. And when you do that, you have increased. You have gotten to the next level of soul self-connection and presence. And from there on, you can deal with the next thing. Who knows what will pop up? But unless you have achieved everything that there is to achieve and the highest level of soul self-connection that could ever be achieved in this game, then the journey will show you what you need to face next. And laying there in the silence is just as much, if not more, of a journey as the normal life in full conscious awareness. So do the work. Face the things that must be faced for you to be happy and at ease here and now. For you to be whole and complete to the next level. And this will be the first video in this series about being on top of your game. But everything is there. If you can take those simple instructions and try them out when entering the silence, then you could achieve great things. It's kinda like you have a unlock of what is possible for every minute that goes by when laying there in the silence and increasing your soul self-connection. I would try to lay there for more than 20 minutes if I were you. Preferably an hour or more. So if you have benefited from this video, then your support would be very much appreciated. It is your support that makes it possible to release these videos. So thank you very much to those who are supporting, and more abundance, health and prosperity to you. See you in the next video.